Yo! Oh, hello.
Creating your first video? You should start with the music.
Hello, 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 hello. Sound check, sound check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah! What's up, Austin? What's up, Stumpy? What's up, Galactic Nerd? What's up, NW Player? What's up, Godzilla? What's up, Abe? What's up, Saintse? What's up, Amethyst? Advertiser, Fabio.
Let's go.
Electrics, Gummy Fresh. Zixcat. Congrats on my Disney stock. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The man's been going all in on Disney. I do. Special letdown. Carl, the man, thank you for the 7 months. Glad you're back. Hope it was fun in New Zealand. It was. Saint say thank you for the 60 months. Inexperienced with this 8. Whoa, thank you for the subs. Thank you for the subs. I do appreciate it. Big's Place, thank you for the, oh my god. Dr. Poppy, thank you for the 2 months. Zooey Maja, thank you for the 5. Joba Vision, thank you for the 19. Balake, thank you for the 24 months. 24. Good goddamn. New Zealand was sick, but I have many tales to tell, one of which involves Aiden's cock and balls. We'll get to that in a second. Let me keep taking some subs here. 2. Justin W 31 months. Sheesh. Stelios, thank you for the 30 months. Sheesh. Hack, thank you for the 20 months. Charlie's my name, thank you for the 3 months. Luke Scarborough, thank you for the 19.
Let's go.
Ezra Vale, thank you for the X amount. David, thank you for the 5 gifted. Hog Champ. I'm not back from Australia. I didn't go to Australia. Actually, they're very clear in New Zealand how much they don't like Australia. It's a real rivalry that I didn't know. In my mind, as a simple American, I kind of thought Australia and New Zealand were like the same thing. They hate that. They fucking hate that. Let me tell you. I'll tell you that right now. They don't like to be called the same thing. What does Canada get? Does Canada compare to America, I guess? Bro, Canada is just America, dude, with more expensive housing and slightly nicer people and moose. Who gives a shit, dude? You're not that special. Canada, you're not that special, dude. Canada act like they're so different. Canada act like their shit don't stink, dude. That's what I say. Yeah. And they have healthcare, and they have less shootings. Fine. Oh, okay. Wow. Big whoop, dude. It's colder. It's colder. You ever think about that? It's colder. No NFL. Yeah, exactly. Ever think about that? The CFL? CFL best plays. I don't want to watch the fucking CFL plays of the week. Who the fuck is watching Canadian Football League? Which league is better, the NFL or the CFL? This is a question that has perplexed football fans since the dawn of time. This is the most biased article I've ever read. It's from 2012. I think we know what happened, dude. It has a bigger field. Why would they make the field bigger? It's already so big. The CFL is more exciting. The NFL is more skillful. You watch too much football. Bro, if you are accurately up to date on both the NFL and the CFL, you need to fucking pick one. That's too much. You're watching too much. You shouldn't need a fix, dude. It's Nobody with the 2 months. KJ Mac P, they with the 4 months. Jaro Badger, they with the 11 months. Mr. JC, they with the prime. Not a Lime, they with the 11 months. Lobsters are blue, they with the prime. Aussie rule football is better than both. You mean rugby? Or what are you talking about? What you talking about? Well, you be all right. I kept saying that. That's my response. I've decided. I learned it from our Kiwi friend Sean. Australians just say, "You'll be all right." Hey, you'll be all right. It's anything, and so that's what I've been running that bit 24/7. Should be all right. Please watch out for a rip. It's peak Canadian culture. I won't do that now. Maybe one day. I gotta thank some subs. Sam Rambo 2002, David 2021. Empty Gracie in the 15 months. Big A, I met you in Wellington. How was this held out? Oh, Empty Gracie. Pleasure to have met you in the Wellington meetup, which was really fun with me and Eamon Gaiman. South Island was beautiful and amazing. I'm talking about it in a second. I'll tell my, I'm not gonna do a whole fucking travel log, but I do have some funny stories from New Zealand that I'll tell you guys, involving Aiden's dick and balls, and then I have some wins and fails, and then I'll probably crash because I'm a little jet lagged. Though I will say, it turns out when you fly from LA to New Zealand, it is a 21-hour time difference. So basically, you're not jet lagged at all. Basically, you're just in a day ahead. You know what I'm saying? It's like I went to the East Coast. It's like I time traveled. It's so far ahead that my brain's like, this is fine. This is like, I just go to bed a little earlier. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, it's a 3-hour time difference, but a day ahead. A full day ahead. Did Ari like streaming? She said she did. Well, she liked it. She didn't know if she did any good, and I haven't seen her stream yet. But I hope you guys all were very supportive and nice. She had a good time. She had a good time. I heard she beat it. She told me she beat it. And the sponsor was super happy, so the costumes were her idea, and they loved it. So big dub. I won't be sharing any of the money with her, of course. Sigma, obviously. Yeah, I'll be keeping the money 100% in my own separate account. But, you know, I will definitely give her shout outs, verbal credit. Put it in FTX, Giga Chat. If only I could buy the dip in FTX, dude. If only I could. Because I got a feeling this thing's headed to the moon. I had a feeling Sam Bankman-Fried's just misunderstood, bro. Everyone's calling him a fraud. Everyone's calling him a scammer. I think this man's got nice hair. And he's just trying to fucking turn it around. By the way, FTX hat's coming. Aiden was freaking out because it is a brand new recent bankruptcy and they can and will sue. But we're going to run it. I don't give a shit, dude. What they're so busy. What, they're going to be worried about little old me? I'm running FTX hats, dude. I heard he's the most generous billionaire. Yeah, that's what I heard too. Nas Daily wouldn't lie to me. Pingu 0419, thank you for the 6 months. Chihuahua Boy, thank you for the 11 months. Vera, thank you for the 27 months. Wow, so many long-time subs today. Stories, 7 months. I don't like the Canadian folk slander from you, but you can have my prime anyways, Sag. Thank you for the 7 months. It's just, it's like Canada is America's little bro, You gotta razz them a little bit, push them a little bit, be really, really incredibly mean to them. Just a little bit of banter. Invade them a little bit later on once global warming makes the Southern and Central America a hellhole. We'll just take over Canada. All those fun things. Fragile Brain, thank you for 21 months. Luigi Poo. Your name is Luigi Puigi? And you've subscribed for 15 months and I've never seen that before? I guess I'm sorry I never thanked you, but I'm also kind of happy I never noticed your stupid fucking name. Luigi Puigi. Is that a change? My wife went to ASU. Wait, what did you say? What the fuck did you say? Your wife went to ASU and told me she has a friend who used to know you, and my wife saw you at a party once playing Pong, and that it was an unfortunate sight. I don't believe that. I was playing Pong because it just came out that year, the year I was in college. Stupid fucking dumb. Playing Pong? Or do you mean beer pong? Nobody calls beer pong pong. Nobody calls beer pong pong, especially at ASU. He was playing League. Yeah, first of all, relax. Your wife didn't see me at any parties, okay? I was a League of Legends grinder. I would never disrespect the sanctity of my 10 to 20 games a day minimum by going to a social interaction. Whether it's beer pong, arcade pong, or fucking, anything. Table tennis. I don't do any of it, dude. I play League of Legends. Tell your wife she's a liar. Digital Dojos, thank you. Oh my God, Colton, thank you for the 10 gifted sub. Bay Bars, thank you for the 4 months. Colton R, thank you for the 10 gifted. Let's read your last message. I always read the last message of any gifter. And then your last message was, that's my streamer. Oh, Pog Champ. What was that today? Oh, well, yeah, I guess you really like the league comment. Dude, yeah, you are in the sauce, though, because I'm reading your last messages. Holy coffee cow, it's really happening, boys. Lamau Glarketer Glizzington, stop, it hurts so bad. You're all in. Okay? And then your previous messages are all about how Skylar White is the worst character in any show ever. Bro, you've got like 17 messages about how Skylar White is so... Dude, relax. Fucking relax. She's not the worst character in any show ever. I'm Skylar White, yo. Man7, thank you for the 2 months. My life has been changed by Hollow Knight. I can't wait for the sequel. Hey, me neither, brother. Michael Barron, thank you for the 15 months. That Nollins boy, thank you for the 33 in your name, but your actual sub is for 12 months. Thank you for 1 year. Clown Down, thank you for the 11. So, should I, okay, I'm just going to tell you about New Zealand. Because that's where I've been. If you guys want to know where I've been for the past week, I randomly, after quitting NVIDIA, was talking to Aiden. He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about going to New Zealand. Do you want to go? And I felt like this is my time, dude. I've never had a chance to take any random spontaneous trip like this. So I said, yeah. I just said, fuck it, yes. I didn't know the dates or anything. So I find out it's like pretty soon. and and we're just running it. So, and I also didn't know like if he was inviting anybody else. And it's just me. So it's just me and Aiden on a rando trip. And you know why he wanted to do this? Because Aiden was at a grocery store, a high-end grocery store called Erewhon, which is for pretentious douchebags. He was at a high-end grocery store in LA, and he just met some random 20-year-old kid who was visiting LA from New Zealand. He talked to him for, I'm told, a grand total of 2 minutes, became somehow close friends. This is a classic Aiden story, dude. He met this guy for 2 minutes, got his number, connected with him, and got an invite to come visit his farm in southern New Zealand. It's legitimately an Eamon-only story. So that's what happened. So, and then I'm invited along. So we're going to go out and we're going to meet this guy. We're going to explore New Zealand. And the whole thing has to be done in a week because number one, I got to stream. I got to get back to streaming. All right. Dude, oh my fucking God. Can I just say, I have had many weeks in the past 2 years that I've been streaming where I have a tough time putting together a Marketing Monday wins and fails or anything. There's just not enough news, not enough interesting news. And the 1 week of all this time, I finally decided to take a fucking break and take 1 week off to go with Aiden. The fucking entire business world breaks loose. Not even just like the most interesting stories, but also like the funniest ones, dude. There's this Sam Bankman-Fried fucking sex tape. Bob Iger's come back to Disney. Fucking Elon Musk he's like literally shitting himself every day on live tweeting it. There's like so much interesting stuff happening that I could be talking about, and I'm in New Zealand for that. So, okay. So there, it's just it's crazy that's happening, but fine, whatever. The timing is not great, so I got to get back for a week, and then Aiden has to film the yard because you just can't skip a full more than a week because he has to do the yard. So we have exactly 1 week to enjoy New Zealand. So let me see what I picked up. So yeah, we're gonna go there and meet this guy named Sean, who is Kiwi boy. He's only 20 years old. Aiden met him in a grocery store, and we have no idea who he is, we don't even know anything about him. Aiden really only talked to him for like 2 minutes, so like he doesn't know that much about him, and that's our plan. And we get to New Zealand, okay? Well, I should tell you one thing. I should tell you So, all right, so a flight to New Zealand costs like, let's say, $1,900 round trip. All right, that's the flight. For regular, like, economy class flight. And it's a 12-hour flight each way. It costs us a little more because we bought a little late, to be honest, okay? That's the thing. Now, if you want to upgrade to, like, a nice seat, with, like, a kick-out footrest and, like, fancy meals and, a pillow and a blanket. If you want to go big, that shit'll cost you roughly $1,400 to $2,000 just one way. Just that alone. Just add on top. No, ain't nobody paying that. Okay, no fucking shot. I'm paying that, or Aiden's paying that. Yeah, I'm doing all right, but I'm not paying that fucking money. That's fucking ridiculous. All right, even for a 12-hour flight, that's ridiculous. However, 2 weeks before the flight, I get an email from Air New Zealand saying that I can bid. They have like an auction system, and I can bid on an upgraded seat. You can bid however low or high you want, and if the seat is unfilled, it will take your bid. I'm a gambling man. Fuck it, dude. So I toss the last bit of my profit that I had from Las Vegas. I tossed $400 bidding on a premium seat. As I get to the airport and I'm sitting at the airport bar, I meat up with Aiden. Aiden, what's up? Get ready for our trip. I get a ping on my phone that my bid has been accepted. So I got a $1,600 savings, and instead of sitting next to Aiden back in the fucking cheap seats, I get to fucking sit in first class. Not first class. I don't even have first class, but whatever. Premium. All right? I get to sit I get to board first. I get to kick my feet up. So this is what I do. This is what I do. All right. We board. I board. All right. I board. I get settled in. I get comfortable. I'm in my big fucking seat. I'm leaning back. Aiden has to come in later. You know, he's like fucking 7,000th in line. He has to walk past me. He's shaking his head, dude. Just pissed. He has to walk all the way to the very back, in the back of the plane. And I'm just laughing, whatever. And then, okay, the plane takes off. And every seat, even the ones in the back, has a little, as a monitor, you know, has like a screen in the seat in front of it. Mine's a little bigger, whatever. But yeah, you got a screen. And you can watch movies and shows or whatever. All right? And it also has built-in seat chat. So if you know somebody else's seat number, you can send them a message and it will literally pop up like an instant messenger on their seat screen. So I text Aiden and I go, Aiden, there's actually quite a few open seats still up here. I think you could just run up here and snag one. And he's like, wait, how would that even work? Like, aren't they going to catch me? And then I text him and I'm like, bro, I just talked to a flight attendant. I think we literally can get you changed. What's your seat number? I didn't do any of this. He goes, oh, I'm 59A. Once I get his 59A, I type it in the thing. I make my username Aiden Poor. And then I message him, broke Omegalo. He gets a pop on his screen, which he accepts. He accepts, and it's just a pop-up message from Aiden Poor. Oh, it was... Mwah. Then he texts, I hope... Then he texts me, I'm going to fucking kill you. At which point, I take this time to block him. Block his ass, dude, because I can't be hearing all that. I can't be hearing all that chitter chatter. I'm up here in first class trying to enjoy myself, and I can't be getting all this. And then I close the curtain, and I got 12 hours of peace and quiet, because I don't want to hear that broke talk, dude. Okay. Now, there is a part 2 to this story, but we'll get to that on the way back. Okay. We'll get to that on the flight back. Okay, then we get to New Zealand. We land. We're landing in Auckland. We fly to fucking Wellington. We do the meetup, which we planned like last minute. So I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think we'd even get shit happening, but it actually turned out to be freaking awesome. Did I get a video of it? I did get a video of it. Wait 1 second. Actually, Aiden's got a thing. Aiden's got it on his Twitter, I think. One second. That one I can't probably show. Oh yeah, here it is. This and this. Oh yeah, so we land and we get a rental car, right? And the thing about the rental cars in fucking New Zealand is that they're on the wrong side of the road. So yeah. There it is. Listen. Brother Bear. This shit's not fucking sending. Wait 1 second. Hold up. I got all of these ready except for this fucking video of Aiden. There it is. Okay. So we land in New Zealand and we get the fucking car. There it is.
I've already decided that I don't like this. I'm very uncomfortable right now. I got too big of a car to do this.
Yeah, this is tough.
Dude, this is the exit? This is like small.
Oh man.
Dude, no
we
way.
are gonna crash. You can't do it. Because you don't know how far it is on this side.
Dude,
You
I
don't.
don't know how to gauge the distance.
So the car's pretty big, and he's on the wrong side, so he keeps like swerving into the wrong lane, and they flip the windshield wipers and the turn signal. So every time Aiden wants to turn, he blasts the windshield wipers full speed. Also, all the roads are small. So he's like bleeding into other lanes. Now, end of the day, you know, he's the one fucking driving. And the problem is I'm not that helpful of a navigator because every time he's like checking to see if he should turn, if I see any car coming in any direction at all, I immediately go, oh God! At first, like almost unintentionally, and then as a bit, and it freaks him out. He freaks out. He like jerks the car. So we are in serious danger. I'm not even kidding. Like at the very beginning, before he got used to it, we were like, we were a menace on the road.
Oh, it's all gone
This
bad.
is so miserable already. Here. You know how like you drive until like when you start driving, it's system 1 in your brain, and then you drive for long enough.
That's what I said. You had
and
to
it's-
focus.
Dude, and now I'm system 1 driving for the
Yeah.
first time since I was 16. I don't like this. This is not.
And thankfully we don't die, but we do make it all the way to the hotel. Barely fucking get in the garage. Whatever, we figured it out. And then we go to the meetup, which is fucking actually kind of hype. This is the meetup at the Giant Hands in Wellington. If you'll notice, apparently this used to be a sculpture in a different city, Christchurch or something. And it was so popular that Wellington just stole it because it was good for tourism. So we showed up with the giant glizzy hands, you know, obviously. This is the true glizzy hands of New Zealand. And this is everyone that showed up. These are all people that came to see me and Aiden. They were all super fucking nice. We talked to literally everybody one-on-one. We went around, shook hands. And then after meeting everybody, they're all super nice. If you're in chat and you were there, very hi. It was nice to meet you. Everyone was polite. They brought us like chocolates and other like New Zealand snack shit. It was cool. It was all nice. I can't think of anybody other than Aiden that was cringe there. So, so it's sick. A lot of people were like skipping work though. Like a very good number of people were like, yeah, man, I just blew off work. Like I was at work and I just left, then came here. And I was like, shouldn't you go back? And they're like, nah, they don't even care. Wow. I will say one vibe that I got throughout all of New Zealand was laid back, bro, which is why I think this country is ripe for invasion. I hate to be the one to say it, but it seems to me like you've got the most beautiful fucking country I've ever seen, and you're all pretty chill. Nobody's working all that hard. So I think we need to fucking pave paradise and put up a parking lot, dude. Yeah, everyone was super duper nice and pretty chill. Everyone was nice. Like, I noticed it right away. Even the TSA people were fucking nice. And like, TSA people are never nice. Because it's a job that sucks and everyone's pissed and everyone's mean. But in fucking New Zealand, they're nice. Everyone was nice, dude. Everyone was fucking polite. Everyone was super nice. So yeah, I noticed that everyone was just pretty laid back. Well, the guy at the cafe when we got fucking coffee. No, I didn't get coffee. Aiden got coffee every day. I didn't get any coffee. I got a chai latte. Everyone, they were just chill. Everyone was like easy to talk to. They gave us like cool tips and ideas. Like everyone was just more talkative, which is cool because I think it's in America it's hard to start conversations with strangers, and I found it to be much easier in New Zealand. Everyone was just pretty chill. So this was cool. After this, a huge chunk of this group went to a war museum for Gallipoli. In fucking not too far away in Wellington. And let me tell you something. As an American, this was very odd to me because it was an entire museum dedicated to one battle that they lost spectacularly. Now, when I thought about it more, I mean, I get it. You're honoring the fallen soldiers, and you shouldn't glorify war to begin with. But my whole life have been on like military bases, and it was just so weird to me because it really was like a huge failure. It's like if you guys don't know Gallipoli, it was a battle in World War One that is basically like D-Day if it failed. Like they all sailed a gazillion miles up to a peninsula in Italy and landed on a beach. Not Italy. Whatever. Fucking here. Is it Italy? I think it is Italy, actually. Anyway, they land and they fucking die. Turkey. Sorry, Turkey. Land on a beach in Turkey. And they all just land on this beach and die. That's basically like apparently they lost one soldier for like every, I want to say like 3 meters of ground gained. Or like 100 soldiers. Like people died just for every small fraction of ground they got. And they didn't get anything. So anyway, it's a total disaster. And everyone in Australia and New Zealand, before they're going into it, is promised like they'll be heroes. This is World War One, right? Like everyone's going to be heroes. This is going to be great. It's going to be an easy war. We're going to crush the Turkish, the Ottomans. And they get absolutely fucking rocked, dude. Anyway, it was very interesting because we did the whole museum on that. And I had just never seen anything like it. They also had gigantic statues of, like fallen soldiers that were, incredibly detailed. I want to show you just one because they kind of blew me the F away. Like here's one right here. Boom. Here it is. Like this is just bigger than a car. This is like you can't tell the scale of it. This thing is massive. It's like, I don't know, 20 feet tall, and it has incredible detail. Like you can see like the fucking skin flicking off the hands. Anyway, the whole thing was crazy. It was really intense and cool, but it was definitely like not a victory by any stretch. So it was just funny that it was like their only battle in the museum. After that, of course, we got McDonald's. Because we have to enjoy some real, authentic New Zealand food. Okay? I want to experience the culture. You know what I'm saying? I want to immerse myself. I'm not here for just to be a tourist. You know, I want to like really get a day in the life of a Kiwi. So I got some chicken nuggies at McDonald's. And then I think that's it for the day. Next day, we drive all the way down, take a big-ass ferry, go to the South Island. If you guys don't know, New Zealand is actually 2 big islands, North Island and South Island, and they're way farther apart than I thought. Like, there's not just a bridge that connects them. You have to get on a fucking 3-hour ferry. They're basically different. I mean, they're not connected at all. So we go to South Island. We drive all day. And then we meet Sean, okay? And Sean is, again, the 20-year-old Yard fan, Marketing Monday, Atrioc fan. He's a marketing student. He's just graduated. He's trying to get a job in marketing in New Zealand. And I don't know anything about him. And I'm worried he might be like weird. Turns out, through the grace of God, through pure luck on Aiden's part, Sean is incredibly cool. He's like just a fucking giga chat. He's like 6'3", chatted up. He looks 26, but he's 20. And he knows everything about New Zealand. And he keeps saying, like, not only does he like know a lot about New Zealand, but he grew up on a farm. He's like, he knows everything about like New Zealand agriculture and food exports. And he's really proud of his country. He says it a lot. Like in a way that I've not heard from a lot of people. Like he's like deeply, deeply proud of New Zealand and wants us to experience the best parts of it, which is like the perfect person to show you around. Like incredibly, I don't know. It was very, very lucky. Anyway, I'm going to show you Sean. Wait. There's Sean right there. Chat it up. Look at him go. He's got tats. Tatted up. And yeah, he's just showing us all around. And he drives us, shows us some different restaurants and shit. And he's driving us all the way. It's like a 9-hour drive or 6-hour drive. We drive all the way fucking down. On the way, we stop like, we just pull over at one point, and it's like, it looks like, it looks like this, dude. Fuck, this is such a fucking low res stuff. That's so terrible. Wait, give me the fucking high res, dude. It looks like this. It looks like we're blurry. There it is. There it is. Okay. Dude, it looks like this. It's fucking incredible. It's just dumb gorgeous. He just pulls over and he's like, yo, we're going to fucking walk down to this. There's like a river. This is not an exact screenshot, but like a river. And just drink from it. So we like walk all the way down the hill, just walking. He leaves the car open. Bro, he just pulls over on the side of the road, leaves the door of the car open, and we just walk, I don't know, like a fucking half mile down to the river and just drink delicious water from the stream. It's crazy, dude. I'm a League of Legends grinder. This is not, the whole thing is just beautiful, right? Then we come back up, and on our way driving back to where we're going, which is Queenstown, he says, this is the bridge where bungee jumping was invented. Do you want to bungee jump? And I'll be honest with you guys, before I went on this trip, I thought, yeah, I think I'd like to bungee jump in New Zealand. I'd like to give it a shot. And then I got up on that bridge. I didn't want to do it. I'll be honest with you boys. I looked down the bridge and I didn't want to fucking do it, dude. I didn't want to fucking jump off that fucking bridge. I got a little queasy, to be honest. I got a little bit queasy. You know what? You can fucking call me a coward if you want. I didn't feel particularly brave. I looked down, and I was like, nah, I don't really want to jump off this bridge. I'll tell you who did, though. And I'll give him the Giga Chad of the Trip Award. Eamon Gaiman, dude. And I got a video of it. Where's my video of Eamon Gaiman? All right. I think I yell at him and he donut walls me because he can't fucking hear me.
Hey, how you feeling?
Nothing. Nothing, dude. At that point, I kind of wanted him to fucking rope the snake. Just kidding. Just kidding, dude. Just fucking kidding. I don't know why you donut wall your friend like that. He was going through the effort of filming a video. Whoa, baby! Look at that! Touches the water. Anyway, but isn't the water fucking beautiful? The whole thing's beautiful as all hell. It was truly gorgeous. So shouts to Aiden because he did do it. It was like a 140-foot drop, I think. Which, by the way, apparently we looked it up. People have lived this without a rope. If this is deep enough, this isn't. But if it was deep enough, you can actually jump from this height with perfect diving ability as long as you toss a rock first and live, which is crazy. Anyway, we mentioned that before he jumped, so I was like, even if your rope breaks, you're probably good. You have to throw a rock first to break the surface tension on the water. And then you have to time your jump so you land like right as it's rippling. And then I guess you're able to live. It's crazy. Yeah, what you do is you get a bucket of water, Minecraft style, dude. What if you hit the rock you threw? You're not throwing a fucking boulder, dude. It's like a couple fucking pebbles. You're not fucking heaving a stone and then trying to catch it. That was myth busted. I like to see the Mythbusters jump 140 feet in the water. Anyway, I didn't jump, so I don't care if it's a myth or not. I just wanted Aiden to feel better about jumping. Sean also jumped, but he's jumped like a million times. He's a fucking gay Chad. What about concrete shoes? Yeah, that's a good idea. You should bungee jump with concrete shoes. So, bungee jump, beautiful landscape. We get there, have some meat pies. Should be all right, mate. We say a bunch of fucking funny phrases. And then we get to our hotel for the night. And this is what Aiden booked. Excuse me? Motherfucker? You notice a fucking problem? Is there any difference here, Aiden? What? Excuse me, bro? Fucking queen twin, dude. What is this? We're splitting the cost. So, anyway, it leads to a heated debate, at which point we have a rock, paper, scissors best of 3 that Aiden gets fucking 2-1 smoked in. So I actually stay winning because after first class flying, I get in the fucking big bed and 6'2" Aiden is in the cuck bed. So we're staying winning, dude. We're staying winning. Despite splitting this entire cost 50-50, I have been living the life of luxury. So that's hype. Then I just want to show you. Oh, by the way, this is where we had that river. This is the actual landscape where we went down to this river and had the water. There's me and Eamon, dude. Just boys. Just boys being boys, dude. This was fun. It was gorgeous. It was gorge. Did you get chased by orcs? Thankfully, I think we were more close to the Shire. But I did bring it up constantly. Actually, we did, if anybody here is a Yard Patreon member, we did record a solo dolo Atrioc Aiden driving podcast when it was just me and him in the car. And we talked about, do you think everyone in New Zealand has fucked a sheep at least once? I said no. Okay. We talked about if fucking Gandalf had a RAV4, if it would have made Lord of the Rings a lot easier. We talked about, I don't know. We covered a lot of big topics. So you can check that out if you want to see it. I think it's pretty funny. Then we finally get to fucking Queenstown, and I just want to show you this. Queenstown is the most beautiful place I've ever been on planet Earth. I'm not going to do fucking, endless talking about it, but as God is my witness, and I'm not as well traveled as Aiden, to be honest, but I'm pretty well traveled. I grew up military family. I lived all over Europe. We lived in Japan, Okinawa. We've been 13 states. I've been around, okay? And I have never seen a place more beautiful in the earth than Queenstown, New Zealand. It's fucking insane. It's insane. Here's another view of it. It looks like fucking unreal. It looks like Pokemon. I kept saying it reminds me of that Black Mirror episode, San Junipero. I felt like New Zealand was fake, and they had strapped me into a VR headset when I landed. It was fucking crazy. Ohio's got it beat. Yeah, maybe it's no Ohio, but anyway, it was really, 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 really fucking gorgeous. Like mountains into the clouds, beautiful sunny day. Everything was green. Everything was lush. Everything had nature. It was hype. So, and Sean showed us around that. And then, yeah, this is like where fucking Sean's aunt lived. Now, Sean's family just owns a farm, but his aunt apparently had it fucking made because this is like the view from her fucking balcony where we got to stay with Sean. It was just fucking nice, dude. It was just nice. It was crazy. So, so everything's looking good, and then we go. Oh yeah. So then we go to the top of the mountain. All right, we get up this fucking gondola, which is the world's steepest gondola, and you can't really see it, but you can luge down it. There's like a luge track on the mountain, and you can race, and it's like Mario Kart. You can like slam into each other. You can like knock someone off the side, and we start racing for money. I think we put $500 on it, me and Aiden. And and as we're going down around a big turn, Sean comes in and slams into me, which slams me into Aiden, which knocks him out. So, no, knocks him like off the track. And then he gets up and tries to catch up, but there's no way he can catch up. And I just go like this, woo! Zoom my way to victory. And I win like $500 off Aiden. Now, at that point, we did another bet. It went down to almost nothing. So I just want you to know that like I didn't stay $500 up on Aiden. But at one point, Aiden was getting fucked left and right. Oh, by the way, I want you guys to know something. Just before you think I'm fucking taking advantage of Aiden. I'd already knew this, but I learned more about it on this trip. The amount of money those yard boys are making individually on that Patreon, it's absurd. It's disgusting. It's absurd. It's bananas, dude. You know how every time I hard earn a sub by watching Community for an hour, every time I put my fucking blood, sweat, and tears into watch Community to get somebody to sub, you know that Jeff Bezos takes fucking half? Whenever they get someone to sign to the Patreon, they take 92%. Patreon takes only 8%. Why doesn't Twitch do that? Twitch take 8 fucking percent, dude. So anyway, they make bank. They make absolutely stanky bank. Aiden is rolling in it and buying Balenciaga t-shirts on the regular. So anyway, he has enough money to do a $500 bet. I'm not taking advantage of him. Anyway, so yeah, I win that. He wins back the next one. You know, it's all good. And it's really fun. It's just a fun fucking time, all right? It's good. And then after the gondola luge thing, we go to the lake, but we're late in the day. Cause you know, like this lake, I want to swim in this in the middle of the day, even though it's cold as shit right now. At least it's hot, you know, it's sunny. But when we finally get there, it's like this. Can I get a full screen? And it's fucking cold. It's fucking frigid. I mean, icy in your veins. And this is where Aiden's cock and balls come into play. In case you were wondering. So we're sitting on this pier. We've already been in this picture. We're sitting on this pier. We're standing on this pier. And we're trying to hype ourselves up to jump into this lake. Because we touch it with our feet and it's frigid, dude. It's actually as cold as it gets. Sean is, by the way, right behind us. Sean is also here. And no one's ready to jump. And then Aiden goes... Aiden, unprompted, out of the blue, goes, the only way I can psych myself up is if I'm naked. This is not a joke. For whatever reason, he says that. Then immediately takes his fucking swim trunks off. He's just cock and ball out, dude. Then he goes, huh, 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 just bouncing, jiggling all around, and then jumps in. I'm literally not kidding. This is exactly what happened. No, I had no fair warning. I had no fair warning. How does that psych him up? I have no idea. He's wearing this swim trunk. How does this, and the difference in this and not, anyway, he leaps in to the ice cold frigid water. Now the water must have been cold because, you know, I'm just kidding. Must have been pretty chilly though. Must have been pretty chilly from what I saw, dude. I'm just kidding. But he does jump in. I jump in after him. Sean jumps in. It's fucking ice to your bones cold. Instantly, we have to swim back and get out. I mean, it's just way too cold. But it was fun. Every time you jump in, it's really fun because your brain like lights up like you're gonna die. You know, it's real bracing. So this is what we did. We did a little. 3, 2, 1. Whoa! You know, just get in there, get icy, dude. Yeah, I can feel the cold. So I've seen Aiden's cock and ball before I've seen Ludwig's now. I've only seen Ludwig's balls, as the entire world has. Despite knowing Ludwig way longer, I have now seen Aiden's full fucking schmeat. Before anyone else in the crew, I think. Very, very odd. Have I seen Stanzies? I think I've seen Stanzies. maybe in a gym, but maybe not, dude. Maybe Aiden. That's crazy. I thought it was summer there. No, it's spring. Spring in New Zealand, and it's not that warm. But it was a nice day. Anyway, that was dope. Again, like I'm saying, just everywhere I go, the place is fucking beautiful. Just rolling hills, green. You know, it's just really nice. And then then so we did that for a couple days, right? We spent our time there. I'm not gonna take too long on this. After the last day, after we said goodbye to Sean. By the way, just shout out again to Sean. Sean, how do I say this? Sean, I could tell, had seen a lot of my content, but he never called me the Glarketer or Glizzy Goblin or Coffee Cow one time. He is effortlessly cool. It was a true treat to spend time with Sean. And in fact, so actually a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a good amount of people everywhere we went, like every city we went to, at least a couple people, even on the mountain, like even up here, some guys saw us racing. We had a couple people stopping us and be like, hey, are you Atrioc and Aiden? And they wanted to say hi and take a picture. And everyone was really nice. But, you know, all the times, including TwitchCon or anywhere else, anytime someone's ever told me what their favorite video of mine was, they've always usually say like, you know, a Marketing Monday or a Hitman, or if they're trying to really be like, I'm smart, they'll be like, 3 lines. 3 lines is my favorite. But he was the first person that said, you know that video you made about the new dating economy where it's like, you know, how the fucking odds are just really stacked, how Tinder's an incredibly unequal system, and how, you know, people like Andrew Tate are exploiting this to turn radicalizing people. I thought, you know, he said, not only have I watched that, but I've shown it to a lot of my friends who are like in that situation where they're having trouble getting dates and they're starting, you know, like it's easy for that situation to turn into women hating. And I just thought that video, I haven't talked about it very often, but I thought it was a pretty good message. And it was really cool that he picked that one. And I really, like, I really, it was cool of him to say that. I just thought it was really cool of him to say that. And I instantly was like, this guy rules. So anyway, he's applying for a marketing job in this week, and we all got to wish him luck. He's flying to Auckland to participate in like a marketing student job fair thing, and he's gonna apply at a bunch of different places. And I think he's gay Chad. He's like read a bunch of stuff. I think he knows his shit. We talked about some real shit. Yeah, I think he's smart as hell. Head of the game for 20, and I hope he does well. So I'm wishing him all the best. Really hope he gets it. And if he ever comes to LA, listen, we'll show him around. You know, it's so funny. Oh, dude, because we kept saying every time we saw a view like this, I kept saying, like, my favorite joke the whole weekend was like, yeah, could really use a parking lot though. Could really use a Walmart. Really, really wish this thing had a couple Mickey D's. Like I kept doing, I was incessant, dude, because it is probably the funniest joke of all time. And I kept saying, bro, like this is like, you would show us some amazing view and I'm like, yeah, it's all right. You know, but if you could see the smog glistening over the 405, that's beauty. Come to LA, dude. I'll show you the 101 with just a fucking wall-to-wall traffic, 4 exit ramps with the same gas station, Burger King, Walmart combo, and it's like, mwah, like that's a country. That's what you want to see. So yeah, if he comes to LA, I have no idea what we're gonna show him, but it's not gonna be this, brother. It's not gonna be this. It won't look a fucking thing like this. There's some beautiful parts of LA, but it ain't gonna look like this. So anyway, yeah, I was also thinking like America should just fucking put up like a 13-lane highway all through it. They just pave this down. You know, just really fucking turn a profit. Oh, they were also saying, dude, I remember I'm so capitalism pilled. I think they were saying that like there is so much competition in the coffee shop market in places like these. They all have excellent quality because they're all trying to one up each other and offer better value, you know, better experience. And there's so many different mom and pop shops. They're all like competing. And I was like, why doesn't one of them just take out a big loan, buy up the rest, turn it all into a chain, drastically lower the quality and cut costs, and become sort of a coffee monopoly in the like that was my first thought. But apparently Starbucks tried to open up in New Zealand and got fucking booted out. Like no one bought them. They ran away, tail between their legs. Did I get a Ferg burger? You know I did. Ferg burger was great. So we did all that, and that's basically the end of the trip. Last day, we get driven back. We fly back. We drive back. We say goodbye to Sean. We fly back to Auckland, and the taxi driver says, "You guys look like you're lucky boys," or something like that. And he drops us off. We just wanted to go to the city center, but he drops us off right in front of a casino at 9 a.m. He drops us off in front of a fucking nearly empty casino at 9 a.m. And Aiden is just coming off of Las Vegas where he lost like $9,000. Aiden lost more money than he's ever gambled his entire life. He showed me. I know this because he has a little notes app thing of every time he's ever gambled and what he's won or lost. And it's like won 200, 2012, lost 150, 2013. And then it's like last week in Vegas for the Smash event, lost $8,700. So he is like literally having Vietnam flashbacks. Like he's begging me not to go in the casino. But I'm like, she'll be all right. She'll be all right. Come on. And then I'm like, come on, dude, it's fate. He dropped us off. It's fate. Let's go in there. So I tell him, we'll just look around. And we walk up into the casino. And again, we're just probably going to look around because he really doesn't want to do it. He's like, he's so shell shocked from his bad experience. But we get in the casino. The entire place is empty. Like every table's empty except for one blackjack table that has 2 guys on it. 2 young guys. And one of the guys who's got a big stack of chips, and he's like, it's 9 a.m. He's gambling like a fiend. He looks up and he goes, "Is that Atrioc and Aiden? Come play!" I shit you not, dude. At 9 a.m. in a random fucking casino, this dude who is gambling for no reason recognizes us and asks us to come play. So we can't say no at that point. That's literally fate. You literally have to join in if that happens. So we sit down. I think the guy's name was David, but I'm not sure I remember. And I asked him, like, bro, why are you gambling here at 9 a.m. on a Monday? And he says, my girlfriend's in class, and I have to wait for her to get out, so I just sit here and gamble. Fucking Giga Chat, bro. All right, cool. That's sick. All right, fucking power to you. So he's gambling. He's got a big old chip stack. And me and Aiden sit down. We put all the American dollars we have. We convert them and just fucking try to play. And, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's doing all right. Aiden, every fucking hand, Aiden is like this. He's stressing. He's sweating. If he wins, if he loses, like he's fucking, his anxiety is through the roof. You can't control him. So, finally, we've been there for like an hour and it's like, okay, we're not going to gamble all day. We want to see Auckland. So it's like, let's go. Let's put it all in and go. I think it's Aiden's idea. So we take every chip we have, we put it all on one hand. It's like $1,000 each on a hand. And Aiden gets a good hand. The guy next to us, David, gets a terrible hand. He's out. I get like a pair of 8s. I don't want to go into the details, but the point is I need to split to have a chance. All right? I have 16, dealer has 17. I need to split my 8s to have a chance. The fucking guy, I don't have any more money. I have no more money. I can't split. You need double your bet to split. I need another $1,000. I'm not going to get another 1,000. I can't do it. I can't split. The guy, David, takes a rack, gives it to me, and says, split them. So we split it. I win because of this. I get 2 18s. Instead of a 16, I get 2 18s, which is godlike. I beat the 17. I win $4,000. I give him $2,000, obviously. Obviously, I don't keep it. Although that'd be fucking hilarious. It would be fucking hilarious if I walked away with $1,000 of his money. No, I give him $2,000. We split it. Aiden wins, I win. So we have a fucking massive come up at the last second. Everyone is celebrating. By the way, I'm like hugging this guy. I'm hugging David as the cards are coming down for the 18s. And I'm like, yes! Slapping his back. Dude, it's such a rush. And we all win big. So by the way, the moral of the story is gambling always pays off. You always win big if you just put all your money in. You will profit. Gambling is great. Get it twisted. But we did win big that day. And then we go to fucking just explore the city. And we meet up with some old Smash friends that Aiden knew. Walk around. Explore the sites. Buy a couple things. Yada, yada, yada. And then we go home. So anyway, it's all over, right? I'm nearing the end. We go to the airport. Let's say you're in a fucking New Zealand airport. There's only a few people that are like famous New Zealanders. Who would you expect to see in your wildest dreams next to you in the TSA line? Again, it's basically empty. It's empty. It's late at night on a Monday. It's not a busy airport. I'm bleary-eyed. Aiden and I are going through the line. I'm in TSA line. And literally, I'm talking about as close as me and this chair. This distance away. There's a dude next to me. And I look to the left, and I see this guy's way, way too handsome to be in this line. That's my first thought. This guy looks too beautiful to be in this line. Motherfucking Carl Urban of the boys is right next to me in the TSA line. It's fucking crazy. Billy fucking Butcher is right next to me. I shit you not, Aiden will back this up 100%. It's fucking unreal. So anyway, I'm thinking, I really want to ask this guy for a picture. I really want to ask this guy for a picture. As I'm thinking that, okay, this girl, by the way, he's basically moving to the airport and nobody's saying anything. And I'm looking around like, this is fucking crazy. I look at Aiden and I'm like gesturing, like, why is no, like, because again, I guess fucking Kiwis are just built different, bro. They just don't care. Or they're just like more chill. I don't know what it is. Because if this guy was in LA, there is no shot he could be walking through the fucking regular terminal without getting stopped every 2 seconds. There's just no way. But nobody's mobbing him. Nobody is doing anything. So I feel weird. I'm not going to be the guy. I don't want to be the fucking asshole American. So I'm like, I'm really thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And then as he's like leaving, he's like walking away. This girl goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm the biggest boys fan. Carl, I just love your work." And she's like almost in tears. And I hate to stop. She's like being incredibly polite. "Do you mind if I get a picture?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, all right." Whatever he says. And so he takes a picture with her and he chats her up a little bit. And she asks, where are you headed? And he goes, "I'm going to Toronto to film the next season of The Boys." And she like flips out. She goes, "Yeah, yes!" You're like losing it. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I can't jump into this. Like, I don't know how to be like, "Hey," and me too, right? And he's like, by the way, he's like kind of edging out of the conversation. Like, he has to go. Like, he's leaving, and he's like, "All right, I gotta go. Like, he's like, she's freaking out, but he's like leaving. So I can't me too. I can't be like, "Oh, and me." I don't want to start like a thing. And it's like eating me up inside because I really want to do it. But like the second he finishes the conversation with her, he like bolts off. Like he leaves. And I kind of missed the chance. And again, Aiden has no intention of asking. He's a big no asker. So I missed my chance of seeing fucking Carl Urban. But this is how fucking psychotic I am. I look at all the flights and I'm like, maybe I'll pretend to go to Toronto because I overheard the conversation and I'll just like see him in the gate check and I'll ask him there. That's what I think I'm going to, because I have more time. I have time, right? This is my plan. So I look at all the flights and I realize, there is no one on here for Toronto. So either he lied to that girl or more likely he's connecting in LA, which means he's probably on my fucking flight. He's probably on the same flight as me. And I'm telling all this to Aiden, and I'm like, you know what? Since I'm in first class, I'll probably be seated next to Carl. Like, me and Carl are going to be boys. And he's like, no, you're not. You're not going to be friends with Carl Urban. And I'm like, yeah, I'll probably be boys with Carl. Like, I don't know if I can even hang out with you anymore, Aiden, because I'm probably going to be up there in first with Carl, and you're going to be back in the pores. And we're just not going to be able to, you know, we have different things to talk about. And then I just keep making jokes like, I'm going to, you know, I might tell Carl about you, Aiden. You're a funny podcast. Maybe I'll tell Carl about your podcast. I keep running this bit into the ground. And we get to our gate, and I don't see Carl Urban, but there is like an exclusive, you know, like a flight lounge or whatever that I can't get into that I assume Carl might be in. But I don't see him, right? Whatever. The point is, yeah, it's like super first class. We finally get on the plane. I get on a little late, so I don't get to board like right with the first people, but I get in my seat, and I'm not next to Carl Urban. I don't know if he's on the flight, but I'm not next to him, dude. I don't see Carl Urban. So, big bummer. Big fucking bummer. However, the seat next to me is unfilled. Like, it's just not sold. It's not sold. All right? Technically, it's filled by this lady, but she moves to a different seat. So, after she moves, and this is like after the flight has started, she moves. She's sitting next to me, but she leaves because there's more open seats. After she moves, I'm texting Aiden on the flight app. I'm like sending him chat messages, just shooting the shit. I think he's like, hey, send me pic, man. You know, he's like, whatever. He's just doing stupid things. And we're talking. And then, you know, I'm like BRB or whatever. And again, when you're texting someone, you can see their seat number. So it's like Atrioc is texting you from 29K. And so we're texting. And then I go to the seat next to me and I make my username Real Carl Urban. And I send a friend request message to Aiden's seat. And I'm like, hey, Aiden, heard you were a big fan. Oh, it's a fucking hoot, dude. Aiden immediately texts me back, fucking kill yourself. Which is extra funny because the woman whose seat I am intruding into, like, she left. She's no longer in her seat. She's giving it up. But she kind of sees me, like, leaning over and texting on her seat. And I can see her looking at the text because she's only one seat over. She's like in the row, in the aisle instead of, or she's like whatever. So she can see this fucking deranged conversation where real Carl Urban is texting some guy in the cheap seats who's telling him to kill himself. At which point I block Aiden on both seats and take a nap. And that's the end of my flight. Oh, last thing I want to say, because this will come up on the yard. I forgot to mention it. I did, at all rest stops in this entire journey, play Hearthstone religiously. Every Uber, every night at the hotel, I did play a fiendish amount of Hearthstone as part of my quest to get Legend for my sponsored stream. Yeah, it might come up on the yard. So that is the story of New Zealand. It was fun. It was fantastic. I highly recommend it. One of the most beautiful countries I've ever seen. Carl Urban is now my close personal friend. And I look forward to going back. I will be going back for sure. There's no shot. That's the last time I go there. I had too good of a time. Shout out to Sean. Good luck to him on his marketing quest. And thanks to everybody in Wellington who came out and said hi. It was really a pleasure. Truly a pleasure. Now, I think it's time to do a little fucking marketing if we have the time. Although maybe, oh, dude. Okay, new plan. Even though we got a lot of people here, it is a little late. So what I'm thinking is I have 2 great videos I want to react to. We'll watch those tonight. I'll fucking punt a Targeting Tuesday tomorrow. and it'll be sick. Community? No. There's like actually interesting marketing related videos. One is called Why Unreal Engine 5.1 is actually a huge deal, which looks fucking sick. I really wanted to see that. And then there's one called Playing Games in the Wrong Way by Rasputin that I heard was also sick. That I want to sort of react to both. So, let's just fucking watch them, and then we'll do a fucking big Targeting Tuesday tomorrow, because that way I can I wanted to add a little Elon thing that I didn't get to add. Tell me what you think about Bob Iger. Okay, just quick note on Bob Iger. I guess I'll say it right now. This is a marketing win. The GOAT is back, baby! The GOAT is back! My boy! Bobby I, dude! CEO of Disney yet again is back, and the stock jumped 9% just on the announcement. By the way, I've only been buying Disney stock hand over fist for the past 6 months. And it's probably still down. Probably still down, but it's barely down now. And that's the beginning of Iger turning it all around. If you guys don't know, Bob Iger was the longtime CEO of Disney. And a man I do respect, although, he had his moments. I read his book back in the day, and that's why I was really into him, Bob Iger. That's why this Ludwig bought me this poster. He had a hand-picked replacement for the CEO of Disney named Bob Chapek, who instantly got into a fucking ton of problems and was announcing layoffs, and everyone kind of hated him. So they got Bob back for 2 more years. Bob Iger's back for 2 years to turn the whole ship around. And we'll see how it goes. I'll talk about more tomorrow in the wins and fails. I actually have a more in-depth discussion on it, but why did he leave in the first place? He was done. He'd done it for a long time. Okay. So that's what I want to say. Now let's watch this video, huh? How about, it's called Playing Games the Wrong Way by Rasputin.
Imagine for a moment that you're a video game developer. You and your team spend years coming up with and crafting a particular experience.
Okay.
You do everything you can to set a consistent tone and create systems to help guide players so that they feel a certain way when playing. Maybe your game is straightforward, or maybe it has a fair bit of variance with how it can be approached, but regardless of how many moving pieces there are, every aspect of what you design is made to feed into a specific vision of what the game
really need to
should
play
be.
this.
You meticulously rework sections over and over in the hope of getting things just right. And then players finally get their hands on it, and
Good opener. God damn.
one of the few guarantees of game design is that players will approach any given title in ways that the developers never could have anticipated. It's unavoidable and takes many different forms. The most common examples of this are the unintentional ways people play games wrong. For instance, players misunderstanding mechanics or directions, causing them to engage with things in
Never done
weird
this in my
or
life.
suboptimal ways. Like, I've heard of multiple people who have played through the entirety of Dark Souls without realizing they could lock onto enemies. Also, when I put out a video that mentioned Mario is able to sprint in the original Super Mario Bros., I received hundreds of comments of people saying that they didn't know he could do that. These sorts of misunderstandings happen all the time, and while most people will figure things out eventually, they do have a major impact on how players experience games.
Does anyone have an example of doing something like that? I'm trying to think of any time I've completely not known about something for the entirety of a game. You didn't know that Mario could sprint? The hammer clip? No, I'm talking about like if there's just one, like an item or something you just don't know. Oh, Skyrim fast travel is a big one. I know plenty of people who didn't know about fast travel in Skyrim. Hollow Knight, keyboard and mouse? No. Oh, magic. That's a perfect example. But I didn't use fucking Descending Dark once in all of Hollow Knight. I literally 100%ed Hollow Knight. And I never used the iframes on Descending Dark. I never used it for damage. I fucking Radiant Absolute Radiance without fucking Descending Dark. Also, Sekiro. Dude, having learned more about Sekiro after I beat it, people use firecrackers all the fucking time. I only use the sword, bro. I never use the fucking firecrackers are fucking goated. You watch somebody fight the monkey and just firecracker, hit, firecracker, hit. And I just go, ching, 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 ching. It's crazy. That would have been so nice to know.
This form of unintentionally playing titles in the wrong way has always been fascinating to me. Really, it's kind of the basis for the Gaming for a Non-Gamer series. But to be honest, what interests me even more are the intentional ways people play games quote-unquote wrong. The ways that don't come from a lack of understanding of a title's mechanics, but instead from a keen awareness of them that players utilize to create their own experiences with. One of the most obvious
First time I saw this, the fucking one-hit KO magic beam. I thought it was the sickest fucking thing I've ever seen in the game. And every time I've seen it afterwards, I hate it. Now I think it's lame as fuck. The first time I saw it, I was like, holy shit, that is so sick. And now it's like, fuck you, dude.
Experiences with. One of the most obvious examples of this can be seen with speedrunning, where players pull apart every aspect of a game to find the fastest way to beat it. Through unintended combinations of mechanics, they essentially break the game. And even though there are many developers
Wait a minute!
who did combinations of players pull apart every aspect of a game to find the fastest way to beat it. Through unintended combinations of mechanics, they essentially break
pistol
the
snipe?
game. And even though there
The
are many
virus on
developers who do
Sapienza?
design their titles with speedrunning in mind, runners have an uncanny ability of finding paths that developers never could have planned.
I don't know who first invented that, by the way. I want to give a shout out, but I don't know who first came up with the cliff skip pistol snipe wall run. But somebody great.
For. The argument could also be made that this can be seen with certain competitive scenes, Super Smash Bros. Melee being one of the most notable. While things like wave dashing and L canceling were known mechanics to the dev team, Sakurai and company never could have predicted the way these elements would be combined, mastered, and exploited by the players, leading competitive Melee to be a scene driven by community discovery and
So sad that Sakurai found out about the competitive aspect and then hated it. So sad, dude. Because if he'd have like leaned into it and we got a faster Ultimate and a faster Brawl and a faster Smash 4, like would have been so fucking sick. But instead he like added tripping and Brawl and made everything slow and clunky because he didn't want it to. Just a bummer.
Rule setting rather than developer intention. Beyond those more structured examples, there are also just a ton of people
Like you didn't need L canceling. You don't need to have wave dashing. You don't have to have those things. He took out all that stuff and made the game really slow. It's just annoying. Because 100 characters with a fast melee would be so sick.
who create objectives and restrictions for themselves when playing a game in order to give it a new challenge. It may be an in-depth and planned-out approach to a playthrough, like beating a Mario game without collecting any coins. It may be one powered by external factors, like killing all the bosses in Elden Ring while using a drawing tablet. Or it might be small, simple tasks thought of in the moment, like getting on a motorcycle and trying to land it on top of a building in GTA 5. What matters is that the player is setting an alternate win state that pushes against the intended experience. Regardless of the form it takes, seeing games be
This reminds me of Teardown. This is why I love Teardown. In Teardown, I never feel like I'm doing what the developer intended, which is awesome. I always feel like I'm finding my own solution. One second, I gotta put my nose. That's why Teardown is so fun. Breath of the Wild is very similar, actually. Don't fucking yep code me. It's why I think It's why I think Jerma's Breath of the Wild playthrough is so beloved. Because that game allows so much freedom in how you approach the world and how you approach combat and how you approach everything, that his playthrough is so unique to him that his personality comes through, and it's just very fun. It's just very, very, very fun. He has a very unique way of doing it, and that's why it's really fun to watch. Wait 1 second. I think someone just gifted, and I want to give some thankies. Shout outs to fucking. Oh, Travis Gafford gave me the fucking raid. T Gaff, thank you for the raid. I didn't mention this in my New Zealand story, but I did tell Travis Gafford, oh yeah, I will be there on Sunday and play Magic the Gathering with you. And then on Sunday, I am sitting, 1,600 miles away in New Zealand. I did not understand the dates and the times and all of that. So Travis Gafford, I'm looking forward to our next MTG encounter. Rasputin in chat, by the way. Shout outs to him. Vale, thank you for the gifties. Vale, I heard you had a marketing Monday of your own. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll have to check it out. I actually heard it was actually kind of good. Low key, high key, good. Let me open this.
Played through unconventional means appeals to a fair amount of people. It forges communities and generates millions upon millions of views on YouTube and Twitch. And as an avid fan of playing games and watching them be played in the wrong way, I've recently found myself wondering why. What about experiencing games in these ways is so
I'm sorry I keep pausing, but this I think this is why so many people can watch 45-minute speedrun deep dive videos on games they'll never play. I think there's just something really, really fun about seeing something systematically broken down, even though they never, ever want to do it themselves. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's going to explain this video. I don't know what itch it scratches, but it definitely scratches an itch.
captivating, and what aspects of certain titles make them so fun to play in weird ways. Obviously, I've had countless incredible experiences playing titles largely in the way they were intended to be played, but there's something about the times where me and or my friends have shaped our own experiences within a game that resonate with me in a way that nothing else really does. So in order to get a better understanding on the topic, I reached out to the world's foremost expert on playing games in the wrong way.
I'm Doug. I'm a YouTuber and streamer, and I make a lot of videos about playing games in really, really stupid ways, and often having my viewers help me in playing the games in very, very stupid ways.
Doug's content primarily...
I've mentioned this, talking about the Point Crow Philly story, but I met Doug for the first time there and had to sit down and talk with him, and I learned his actual backstory, and I got so much incredible respect for him. He came up grustling, working for ESL, doing way too much fucking work, running esports events, and then worked for Tempo Storm and Reynad, doing even more but lesser paid work, running esports events with no budget, and then finally said, fuck it, I'm going to do my own shit, and it instantly blew up. He's actually a rad dude, and 2 companies had the chance to have an incredibly talented person, and they fucked it, and now he's just going to be his own boss, dude. Now he does his own shit.
Rarely centers around him presenting a weird idea or challenge to his audience and then seeing how it plays out. There's always a plan he comes in with that he intentionally leaves unfinished in order to give his chat a way to participate. However, his earliest exposure to playing games in unintended ways was far less structured, and really the result of just goofing around with friends.
Halo 2, when that came out, that was a huge deal, and everybody loved the single player, and especially the PvP multiplayer, but me and my friends spent an entire day. There's a mission where you drive a tank down a bridge to save some city on Earth, and we just shot each other with tanks for like 3 or 4 straight hours and made no progress in the mission. And I remember going away from that being like, man, Halo's awesome, but like that is not how you're supposed to play Halo at all.
For a lot of people, myself included, the Halo series was a breeding ground for experimenting with seemingly unintended forms of play. Personally, I've spent hundreds of hours in Halo 2 just messing around with stuff, whether it was searching for glitches on various maps or creating complex out-of-game rule sets for multiplayer modes in order to play something a bit more engaging than Slayer. player. Frankly, there's something about the series that kind of lends itself to be played in these
Yeah, for
ways.
sure.
It was the heart of early machinima, and in general grew a massive community that developed their own modes that sometimes ended up becoming official ones. And Bungie recognized the community's interest in these things, which led to them adding Forge mode in Halo 3, their way of giving power to the player base to experiment with things even further, in a sense acknowledging the value that can come from players creating their own fun. While the campaigns and
Almost every modern game comes from a mod that was created for fun for free. League comes from Dota, which was built in an in-game editor for Warcraft 3. TFT comes from Auto Chess, which is same thing, mod. Yeah, all the battle royales come from DayZ, which is an Arma mod. Portal, well, fan created. CS:GO, fan created mod. TF2, yeah, all this shit. Almost every modern big game was actually invented by the community just to be fun, and then companies added polish and made it bigger. But there's definitely deep truth to that. That like the players are gonna find out the best modes better than any developer paid a lot of money will.
player modes of each game are mostly well-crafted experiences worth playing. I think what made the series remarkable from the
Minecraft Hunger
start
Games?
were
Yeah,
the
exactly.
slew of interesting mechanics and intricate play spaces that gave players room to create their own modes of play.
I mean, I think certain games just have more of a sandbox or set of tools that can be applied in a lot of different ways, where they've developed it so that all the tools in the game can interact in some sort of interesting or unexpected ways. So like Breath of the Wild and GTA 5 and Halo, I think all of those share kind of similar attributes of, hey, here's a whole bunch of pieces in the game. Here's the way you are supposed to play them, in quotes. But there are so many interesting combinations that can happen if you just sort of slam them together.
When examining the games that lend themselves
Breath of the
well
Wild
to be
movement is
played in the
crazy.
wrong ways, the most notable commonality between the vast majority of them are that they all have interesting physics engines, ones that provide flexibility in various ways, sometimes leading to cool movement options, and other times just fun, chaotic nonsense. Looking again at Melee, there's a reason it has stuck around while every other version of Smash has fallen off as soon as a new iteration of the game has come out. Its movement options are unparalleled, creating a wildly high ceiling for what can be accomplished in any given match. A similar thing can be said for many of the most popular speedrunning games. They're all about exploiting movement, level design, and even how a title is programmed to get through it at a ridiculous pace. While technically people can speedrun any game, the ones with the most active communities are generally the ones that have the most interesting forms of movement. And of course, when just considering those self-imposed objectives made by players to shift how a game is played, the adaptability that certain physics systems
That's one of the things I think makes Hitman such a great game to speedrun. It's I think it has like 240 different weapons and items. Every level has like 14 different places you can start. And the targets, they move all over the map. So the number of ways you can kill them is like literally infinite. And so people are always finding new routes. That's what's so cool. I feel like very rarely is it just grinding down 1 second on the same route. It's often like finding an entirely new way to kill them, which is really, really cool.
systems offer is what allows for so much variety in what players can do. For instance,
Yeah,
a
I'm
title
sad
like
they're
The
removing
Last of
these
Us
as well.
really can't be played in that many different ways. Sure, someone could set a challenge for themselves, like trying to beat the game without using a gun, but there aren't all that many options for playing it differently than it was intended to be played, at least not many that are all that fun. The Last of Us has an incredible world to walk through and explore, but it's not one that can be interacted with in all that many interesting ways that aren't scripted. It's a grounded, linear game that's great in its own right, but is too rigid for players to be able to turn into something else.
Every Sony big AAA game is kind of like this, right? It's kind of like a playable movie. Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War. I guess Spider-Man not. But it's like, it's always has that same third-person camera. It's kind of on rails. It's very beautiful the one time you play, but you don't really replay it. Yeah, a lot of talking. No, I mean, they're great. I really enjoy them. I'm just noticing that. I'm just sort of clicking that right now.
And
in my mind.
there's nothing wrong with that. Game's quality is not dictated by the amount of goofy ways people can find to play it, but it does make it harder to go back to. I've seen how the story plays out, and while all this time later I do still enjoy talking about it, I don't have all that compelling of a reason to actually replay it again, aside from seeing how the graphics look in the remake. Now compare this to titles that aren't so rigid in their construction. The fact that a substantial amount of people are still playing Skyrim and Minecraft 11 years after they were released is indicative of how
Sorry, one more pause. The guy Sean, I've never felt fucking older than when he told me his first game was Skyrim. Literally wanted to fucking end myself, dude. He said my first fucking video game was Skyrim. What are you talking about, dude? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Now, he started a little late, right? Because he's a farm boy. You know, it's not like he was 6 and playing Skyrim. He's 20 years old, so I don't know when but still, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's so young. I was like, bro, what about Mario 64? Oh, he also didn't know the name of the Nintendo 64. He was like, that one console that has like the pointy controller. And I was like, talking about the N64? Yeah, I think so. Holy fuck, dude.
How valuable a title having a certain amount of flexibility can be. There are so many ways that those worlds can be interacted with, which gives players the agency to mess around in countless fun ways. With that said, there is a valid argument that games can have too much flexibility.
Just having completely open-ended creativity and you could do whatever you want, I don't think feels particularly satisfying because there's no resistance. And so I think that tension between the game attempting to hold on to the fabric of reality while you poke it in the wrong ways, like that's what's super rewarding in a lot of ways. And so there actually does kind of need to be some sort of tension back and forth, at least for me to be satisfied by it.
With titles like Minecraft or Gary's Mod, they offer so much freedom that it almost makes it harder to have sufficient stakes. And that's not the case for more structured titles. Pushing against the defined limitations of a game and its world breeds a type of creativity that can be difficult to cultivate when just given free reign over a system. When a game has limitations, you have to learn how to finesse things in just the right way to accomplish your goals, and discovering those things can be really satisfying. Obviously, a lot of this comes down to personal preference. I'm sure plenty of people find a ton of value in the freedom stuff like Minecraft and Gary's Mod provide, but personally, I find it way more compelling to create my own objectives in games that have more limitations because I like the feeling of pushing the boundaries of a system more than I like the feeling of setting them. Titles with tons of freedom are expressly designed to let players play them however they want, where ones with more limitations aren't. They just have enough interesting mechanics for people to try it anyway. Also, while there are instances...
The thing is, games like Minecraft and Gary's Mod can still have this if you just don't allow yourselves to use the God mode tools. Gary's Mod expressly can be incredibly fun if you don't let yourself fly around, do whatever you want. Like if you have to actually try and find a way to build a flying machine out of only things you have, then yeah, it's really, really fun. But Jarvis, what's up? Wait, I want to say hey to Jarvis if he jumped in. Jarvis! Thank you for the raid! Jarvis Johnsoners, dude. Shout out members of Jarvis Johnson Gold. We're going to be doing I've said this for literally 8 months, but we're going to do a Darman Bingo. Yeah, Darman Bingo tomorrow, guaranteed. I did go to Jarvis's house recently to watch Smash together. He was very, very nice. But we're definitely going to do it, okay? For sure. Copium. Actually, we're doing it now for real because Jarvis just showed me that he gets 3 million views on fucking... He got 3 million views on just a Darman Bingo VOD. I'm like, motherfucker, I've never gotten a 3 million view video in my entire life. And your fucking full-length stream VOD of a fucking Darman Bingo got 3 million views. So yeah, I'm gonna fucking whatever. I'm jumping in, dude. His VOD channel is so nuts, so nasty. But he did also tweet she Jarvin on my Johnson, I think. So I don't know if I ever want to hang out with him in my entire life.
Is when I go into a game with a certain personal objective in mind. More often than not, the times when I engage with a title in the wrong way are born out of some organic discovery. Is it possible to place a message over there? Can I get from this side to the other without touching the ground? When given too much freedom, these sorts of challenges generally need more planning and preparation, making it so it isn't really possible for players to just react to situations they may find themselves in. Regardless of preference, providing players with many different ways to experience a game, whether intentionally or or not, gives them a reason to revisit it. It is a pretty natural instinct to want to replay games you love, but if you're just going back to play the same experience over and over, it will eventually get stale. So for titles that are unyielding in regards to how they can be approached, eventually they'll just start gathering dust. However, for games that are more flexible with what players can do, it is much easier to go back to them because their systems can be applied to a variety of different situations.
This is one of the first examples I do remember of doing something like this and feeling so sick. When you move the item outside of the shop so you can steal it, you actually feel like such a fucking hacker, man. You feel like you really outwitted the game.
And this form of replayability is even further compounded by the use of mods, which can add even more variations to a game and increase its longevity significantly.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, you can take a bucket and put it on their head so they can't see you steal. That's actually one of the all-time great tricks in gaming history. It's actually so funny. That's so old, I think I saw that in a magazine. I legitimately think I read about that in Electronic Gamer Monthly. And they had the picture of the fucking guy with the bucket on the head. Yeah, that's crazy. That's an all-timer.
When titles offer freedom far beyond the intended vision, they give players a strong motivation to come back. It's a way to have a fresh and distinctive experience with a property you already love. Again, a game's longevity or replayability is not the most important thing for every player. To be honest, for me personally, it's an aspect that has never held all that much weight. With that said, I'm extremely envious of those who get to keep finding new and fun ways to play their favorite games long after they've beaten them. Another key aspect that is often associated with playing games in the wrong way is doing so with other people, whether it be friends, communities, or just strangers on the internet with similar interests. Yahoo! Being able to share weird playthroughs with others can add a lot of value.
The most rewarding part of pursuing dumb things is doing it with others. That's what I really love. That's what draws me to content creation in the first place rather than, just playing games by myself. So that's not an accidental thing that happens on my channel. That's deliberate because that's what makes it super satisfying. So I always look for those opportunities if possible because, man, like, it's so much cooler to achieve this incredibly stupid thing in GTA 5 because Twitch chat landed an airplane rather than, like, me just doing it by myself in a vacuum and then telling people about it after the fact.
When I think about my personal experiences with playing games...
Doug playing GTA 5 alone, lands an airplane normally, and then tells his friends about it after the fact is definitely not the same. I do agree that is that's not as that would be a fire video. It's not even a video of him doing it. It's just Doug telling the story of how he played GTA 5 once and landed the plane. That is a fire video. I would watch it.
Unintended ways. Every single memory that comes to mind is tied to my friends. Sharing those weird, unique moments together that came from a potent mixture of persistence, stupidity, and chance.
I think the Halo 2 ones are probably the coolest.
It's far easier to remember the times when things went off the rails than when we just played games as they were meant to be played. And I don't think that one way is inherently better than the other. They both serve a purpose, but there is something special about the experiences we shared that went against the intended design of a game. One of my now favorite examples of this happened just after I played Journey for the first time. I adored it and wanted to watch everyone I knew play it so I could live vicariously through them. Seeing my friends react to everything from the breathtaking vistas to the enthralling music to the reveal after the credits of all the players who joined them on their journey brought me a surprising amount of joy. But looking back now, most of their playthroughs blend together. However, there is one that stands out to me still. It was a late night and a group of us were all watching my friend Adam play it. He got through the majority of the game in the way I expected. He certainly engaged with stuff a bit differently than I did, and uncovered a few things I hadn't seen before, but all things considered, it was a typical playthrough of the game. That is, up until right before the end. He began his final ascent up the mountain, soaring along scarves and waterfalls, ready to finally reach the destination he had spent the past few hours working towards. And right when he was about to get there, he went off course for a moment, and accidentally glitched into the mountain itself. No matter what he did, he was unable to get out, and every attempt to get back to the path just seemed to get him even more stuck than before. We all laughed for a while, and he jokingly crowned himself as the king of the mountain. After it was clear to me that he wouldn't be able to continue, I told him to reload the game so that he could keep going and see the end. But he refused, simply saying no. for I am the king of the mountain now. At the time, I did find it funny, but I also really wanted him to see the end of the game. His choice to stop playing without actually beating it baffled me, because that's just what you're supposed to do, especially when you're that close to the end. But now, I kind of get it. While every player's time with Journey is unique in its own way, he's probably one of the only people to have ever finished it in the way he did. The experience belonged to him, and he chose not to see the glitch as a mistake, but instead as a moment. One that was part of the journey and not something that occurred outside of it. When making the decision, I don't think he actively thought about how ending the game in that fashion would be a one-of-a-kind experience, but I do think it influenced his choice nonetheless. Also, to him,
So that's why the Pokemon developers made Scarlet and Violet so incredibly buggy. They weren't just rushed to market to make Nintendo more money. They were trying to give every player a unique and beautiful, one-of-a-kind experience. Something that they only could cherish. That's beautiful. Thank you, Nintendo. Thank you, Game Freak.
Journey's natural flow seemed antithetical to everything he had grown to understand about it. So when he got to a point where the only way to get back on the conventional path was through a menu, he chose to let his adventure end on what felt like his own terms. What seemed to play the biggest role in his decision, though, was the fact that all of us were there together, watching this weird, unintended thing happen. It was unique, fun, and really stupid, which is a good descriptor for the best parts of my childhood. He's also told me since that part of why he didn't finish the game was because all of us were pushing him to do it, but he found it much funnier to dedicate fully to the bits, which in hindsight was definitely the right call. Regardless of the full reason why, his refusal to end the game in the way he was supposed to led to something far more memorable than just coming across a glitch or beating the game as intended. It led to him becoming the king of the mountain. While this sort of thing could happen to someone when playing the game alone, it is hard for me to imagine it having the same kind of impact. It being a moment that was shared between us, one that felt like something no one else had ever seen, is why I still remember it today. And this seems to be a pretty common feeling.
What I love to do is like share my love for games with other people. I actually realized that growing up, what I had loved so much about games was not playing games in my room by myself. It was playing games with my brother. That was my favorite experience as a kid, is him playing and me getting to sit there and watch it with him. So the sharing it with viewers and an audience, especially during the actual development of the goal and the challenge, that's what I truly loved. Having them really be involved in the development of this thing at the end, like, that is incredibly special, I think.
Sharing these sorts of experiences makes...
What I really love, though, is when you can share with specifically 9 other people on some sort of rift where you're kind of trapped together, calling each other slurs, wanting every moment with every fiber of your being to kill those other 9 people. That's really when gaming is truly beautiful, you know? When my ADC is telling me to kill myself because I didn't come to Dragon, that's when I know I've had a moment that we can all remember and all cherish together. Cutie on the Rift. Yeah, basically every multiplayer solo queue game
makes them feel more important, regardless of how silly or inconsequential they are. Having other people be invested in whatever stupid thing you end up doing is a huge part of what gives something life. And being able to talk about it years and years later with the people who were there for it.
Yeah, a real example is probably Tree Sentinel, though. Because, like, Tree Sentinel 7 hours by myself, I don't know. That's kind of, that doesn't have a lot of power to it. But like when you get stubborn on stream and then everyone in chat at first is like against it, they're like, move on, move on, move on. And then they start to get, they start to cheer for you. They start to be on board. And then the hours go on and on and on. And everyone start waiting with bated breath. And viewership actually goes up, even though it's such boring content because everyone wants to be there for the moment. And then you finally get it. And it's like the biggest, it's, you know, that's fun. That's one of the most fun things you can do on stream. As opposed to, like, you know, just grinding it alone. Like, by yourself, you probably should just go around, bro. You know,
it's what cements it into a sort of legend. All in all, games are different from every other medium because they hand control over to the people experiencing them. When a title releases, in a way, the ownership of it is passed on to the players. They are the ones who engage with it, leading to developer intention taking a backseat to player expression. Of course, depending on the type of game, the amount of actual agency the player has will vary. With a lot of titles, there really is only the illusion of agency. Players may control the pace at which things move forward, but there aren't all that many systems they can engage with. So for the most part, even if they don't realize it, they're being led by the developers through the use of tight and clever design. And again, this can be great. Some of my favorite moments in video games are ones where I played right into the developer's hands and seemingly did things in the exact way they expected me to do them. However, it is also nice to really feel in control of an experience, to be given a set of tools or be put in a situation that you weren't meant to be put in and decide for yourself what to do. While the worlds and mechanics of games like these are designed in a way to let you do these things, they weren't made with the intention that you would. No one aside from yourself or maybe the people around you are dictating the experience. And I think there's something liberating about that.
It is beautiful.
To do things that no one else would think to do, that no one else would probably want to do. It isn't necessarily the best way to play a game, but it certainly is a special one. And in general, it's nice to have an intriguing reason to revisit old favorites, and it's also fun to experiment with other people in order to discover what the limits of a title are. I imagine the vast majority of game developers have come to accept and even appreciate the ways players engage with their games that they never could have predicted. I also suspect that some developers design their titles with the hope that players will discover weird and unexpected ways to play them. Games don't exist in a vacuum, and at the end of the day, players are the ones who bring life to them. So to a degree, the way we play a game helps define what it is. Ultimately, I think in the same way that someone like Doug loves sharing games with his audience, in the same way that I love sharing games with my friends, developers love sharing games with us, as they get to see what all of their hard work will turn into.
It's very beautiful and very poignant, but saying developers love sharing games with us, you could flash on screen like 40 million negative reviews by like entitled gamers. All the death threats on Twitter when they don't fucking patch your Overwatch hero. Like, I'm just saying, I don't know that every developer loves it all the time, but I see what you're saying, and there is definitely beauty in it.
Even when we end up playing them in the wrong ways. But enough talk about doing stuff wrong. Instead, let me tell you about this video sponsor, Nebula.
Everyone buy Nebula, no matter what it is, even if it's a crypto anything. I want you to buy Nebula. Whatever it is, put your entire net worth into Nebula. Thank you, Rasputin. It's not crypto, I assume. I have no idea. It's a learning app. Cool. Check it out. Use this code link. I'm going to spam it just in case. Here is the channel. If you want to check it out, Rasputin, an incredible creator. Check his video out and check out Nebula if you'd like. I have not watched Andor yet. I've been in New Zealand, but I do want to watch it. Okay, then I wanted to watch this video. It's only 9 minutes long. Great video, by the way. That fucking video ruled. I want to watch this video called Why Unreal Engine 5.1 is a Huge Deal. And this is just the graphics nerd in me. By the way, I almost bought a GeForce RTX 4090 in an airport in New Zealand. In the airport, like, New Zealand Radio Shack. They literally had one there. And I was like, bro, this is out of stock everywhere. And he's like, yeah, I guess we're just the magic store. Dude, they had PS5s in there and a 4090. It was called PB Tech. It was called PB Tech, and it's some New Zealand fucking, and it's just a little tiny shop in an airport. It was after the security check. And I almost grabbed but I wanted to chase down Carl Urban. So I decided against it. And I'm still hoping that, because on every previous launch that I've worked on, like 2080, 3080, I got the card as part of, being the launch marketing team. And for the 40 series, I announced that I was quitting. I announced my resignation right before the launch. So even though I worked in the launch, you know, it just, I don't know. They just didn't, I guess they just didn't include me in the free. So I don't know, you know, it's no big deal. But maybe I can do a sponsorship or something because, you know, I'm still Team Green, ride or die. Either way, I'll buy one. I might buy one at the end of the day. I'm trying to do Cyberpunk with every fucking thing on it. All right, let me see this. Unreal Engine.
Major update for Unreal Engine 5 just released called 5.1, and it is a huge deal. The reason why is one word, and that is foliage. Since Unreal Engine 5 came out, it introduced a revolutionary new way of rendering geometry called nanite. To briefly sum up nanite, every object you see in computer graphics is composed of tiny flat planes of geometry called polygons.
Sure.
And the more polygons you have in your environment, the longer it will take to render.
Sure.
This is why video games have developed a system called a level of detail, or LOD for short. The further away an object is from the camera, the less polygons it will use to render that object.
That makes sense.
This makes games run faster since there's less polygons that have to be rendered, but it is very time consuming to create all those LODs. Nanite replaces LODs because it uses dynamic level detail. This means you can have an object with millions of polygons without any LODs because polygons dynamically deform, lowering the amount of polys on an object. A good example of nanite in use is this
incredibly
desert.
beautiful.
If I come up to lit, nanite, triangles, we can
my
see
God.
nanite in action. Every color is an individual polygon, and there are millions of them
Holy fuck.
without a single LOD being used. The biggest issue with nanite is that it did not work with foliage. This means we still have to rely on level of detail for foliage
So it
like
only
shrubs,
works for
grass,
deserts.
and trees.
Interesting.
Trees generally use billboards as the lowest level of detail, which is just a flat plane with a texture that, as you can see,
Oh, yeah.
does not look
It's like
very
every
nice.
tree in-
Here is an
in
example
64
of what a
games.
billboard looks like. I have Unreal Engine 5 opened up,
God, it's
and
beautiful.
in this environment, all the
Holy
trees are
moly.
using level of details because that was the only option. Now, if I move my camera far away, you can see that the trees change LODs until they are using billboards.
I've seen that
And the
million times.
transition looks pretty
Yeah,
bad.
looks like shit.
Notice how even the shadows disappear because billboards only block light if it's facing it.
Yep.
Now in Unreal Engine 5.1, we finally get nanite foliage. To enable nanite on foliage is pretty simple. You want to open up the static mesh, and
I don't even
within
know
here,
how.
make sure
You don't have to
enable
tell me
nanite
how.
support is turned on, and this is unique for foliage. Select preserve area. That's how if we aren't too far away, the object won't disappear. And then press apply changes. I went ahead and did the exact same process to all the trees in this environment. Now when the camera flies away, there is no LOD transitions or billboards. The trees retain the same quality as if they're being viewed up close. And the shadows do not disappear at long distances. There is no loss in performance. In fact, we gained an extra 5 frames.
Wow.
So it is more performant than LODs. So nanite not only looks better, it runs better in certain
Dude,
scenarios.
games are gonna get so sick
Here's
so
another
soon.
example showing the power of nanite. This is what it looks like
Bro, games in fucking 5-10 years are gonna be so ungodly beautiful. Holy fuck.
without nanites.
It is foliage, right? He's selling it wrong. He is. This guy's smart as shit, but he is saying foliage wrong. I'm correct. I'm not crazy. Okay. Cool. All right. All right.
The level of detail is noticeable because you can see that in the distance, the trees are just textures. Also, the lighting is casting incorrect shadows. And this is the same environment, but with nanite enabled. The trees far away are no longer being faked by inaccurate textures. All the trees are real geometry that exists in the world, and we did not
Pog.
lose any performance. I wanted to push the limit of nanite foliage, so I create a forest that is 4 square kilometers. In total, there's over 100,000 trees in this environment, and I'm still getting decent
And you know what's
performance.
funny? On every individual tree, he clicked it, had to click enable, enable nanites preserve area. There's no way to do it unmasked. So he, it was actually, that's why game developers are a hard job.
And as a reminder, this is all in real time. This level of density was only possible in pre-rendered movies. Also, it makes life easier. We don't need several different versions of an object for LODs anymore. On top of nanite, foliage now interacts with light accurately. In real life, light passes through or bounces inside of leaves, creating
That
subsurface
looks
scattering.
so beautiful.
Previously, this did not work with UE5's lighting, but now it does. This is foliage in Unreal Engine 5.0. Notice how the shadows are way too dark and unrealistic.
Yeah.
And here's foliage in Unreal Engine 5.1.
Wow, that's
now light
foliage,
is
all right.
passing
You know what?
through
Maybe
the
he's right.
leaves
Maybe it
and
is
illuminating
foliage.
the ground, which looks a lot nicer. This is a subtle change, but it does make a big difference. They also added nanite landscapes, but it is feature incomplete and still in early access. Hopefully in the next version of Unreal, we get proper nanite landscapes. Of course, foliage is not the only major change. When Unreal Engine 5 released, it introduced a new lighting system called Lumen, which gave us high performance dynamic bounce lighting. And while it was revolutionary, there was one big issue,
Wow.
and that is it did not work with
I call this
translucent
RTX.
materials.
You know what
So
I'm saying?
glass and water reflections were pretty much broken. It was so bad that I was recommending people to not use glass, since the reflections were completely different from the environment. Right now, I have a previous Unreal Engine version open up, and this house's windows reflections make no sense.
Yeah.
You can see that we're getting reflection from nowhere, and same thing for this glass jar. And this is the same environment in 5.1. But you will notice that there is no change yet in the reflections. And that's because we have to go into our post-process volume and under reflections, lumen reflections, make sure
yeah,
high
give me
quality
those lumens,
translucency
baby.
reflection is turned on.
Whoa!
Now we get a one-to-one reflection with our environment. We can better see this in the glass cupboard. There is an accurate reflection of the room.
Yeah.
We can even see the table and windows within that reflection. The only downside is that the setting does lower performance, so there is a cost.
I mean, the best part about this being an Unreal Engine is like it's going to be in every game now, or it's going to be in so many games. That's the sick part.
But nothing is
So, like,
free,
some of this has
and
existed,
now reflections
obviously,
work.
but like
Water isn't broken anymore because of this new setting. Before this update, to get true reflection, we would have to use planar reflection and then manually move it to line it up with the water. Now I could just enable translucent to get realistic
And
water
it gets
reflections
easier. Oh my
without
God,
having to
that's amazing,
use a
actually.
reflection capture. This also fixes reflections for large bodies of water. Notice how on the side of the viewport, we have weird reflections.
yeah.
This is because by default, Unreal is using screen space for translucent reflections. So that's why we get this artifacting. And to get rid of it now, just within the post-process volume, activate high quality translucency reflection.
Wow!
So now we get accurate, large body reflections without any artifacting.
That's sick.
Also, besides Lumen reflections working with glass and water, Lumen Global Illumination has seen massive improvements. Lumen now has a much more accurate bounce lighting because it is bouncing light from the object
This is one of
surface
those beautiful games I've
instead of
ever
a
seen.
voxel approximation. What this means
I
is
thought
that
this was
our
pre-rendered.
environment
I
is
didn't know this was
indirectly
actually-
illuminated more, and there's less noise. Right here is a simple room with a point light in the old version, and here it is in 5.1. The shadows are more illuminated, and we got rid of the weird occlusion in the corners. Here's another example of just indirect
Bro,
sky
I saw
lighting in
this
version
when
5,
Jensen showed
and
it
here it is in 5.1. You
2018.
can tell that the secondary bounces are more
In the
accurate
introduction
and
of RTX.
powerful. And finally, there's a lot less noise when using emissive materials. In this example, there's a lot of noise when I move the light around. And here it is in 5.1. There is no noise. You can't even tell that this is real time. It looks path traced. Lumen wasn't the only lighting system that got approved. Now the path tracer supports sky and atmosphere. Just make sure in your post-process volume under path tracing, reference atmosphere is enabled. Also, path tracing now finally supports decals and light functions.
What does that mean?
For those who want to use traditional light baking, the GPU light mass has seen massive improvement. First off, the light
It's
mass
all getting
works.
better.
At release, it was crashing, but now since it is more stable, the quality of the lighting is better. And the denoiser has improved in dark
Oh,
areas.
it takes okay.
Also, the GPU light mass now supports sky and atmosphere right out of the box. Besides lighting, there's also an
So
interesting change to how large Unreal levels can be. In past versions of Unreal, if you are really far away from the world origin, Unreal Engine starts to break. For example, I'm in Unreal Engine 4 and I'm very far from the origin. The widgets are starting to break apart because Unreal can't calculate what is happening that far away. Now in 5.1, the recommended area for an environment has expanded from 22 kilometers to 88 million kilometers. So as you can guess, we can
That's
create some
sick.
pretty large worlds now. And finally, the last major change of note is animation with the sequencer. Animating anything in Unreal is done in the sequencer with keyframes. And if you want to move a sequence of keyframes earlier or later in the timeline, you have to select each one individually. For example, let's say maybe I want this ship to fly off earlier. What I'm going to have
Wow,
to do
that's how
is
they
hold
do
down
it?
Shift and
That's how they make like
select
scripted scenes in
every
games.
single keyframe and then move them back. That's how
It's
the
just
animation
like
starts. The ship is
fucking Adobe
already
Premiere, but
flying
with
off.
movable objects in
5.1
game.
makes this
That's
process a
crazy.
lot easier with
Like,
layer
it's the same
bars,
process I would use
which
to
make
animate
retiming
in Premiere.
keyframes a breeze. Instead of selecting each keyframe individually,
That's
I can
interesting.
select the bar as a whole, which will move all the
Although,
keyframes of the
Technically, this is the same process I would use to now pay Quack to do it for no money. But you did generally.
objects with it. So with one click, I can retime the animation. That's how it's.
Hey, to do a Blender stream is actually so easy. Oh, you think I don't? Excuse me? I'm sorry. Wait, you think I haven't done Blender? No. Talk to me. You think I haven't done Blender? That's interesting. That's hilarious. That's hilarious that you think that. It's hilarious that you'd be so dumb as to think that. Because, SpaghettiOs. Wait, fuck. Wait a minute. Dumbass. Stupid ass. Goofy ass. Maybe you didn't think it through. Maybe you didn't know that if I go to Atrioc library and I go to my videos and I sort by date and I reverse it and then I go to May 9th, 2013 and then I open it. You might be wondering why I have long sections of black screen with text. Maybe it's because the project had to be exactly 90 seconds to be submitted, and it took me a very long time to make even 1 second of footage.